Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a brand new Ascension Relationships Energy Update. I decided to do this versus a Sacred Union Energy Update because I don't really want to get into the energy of these sacred unions, especially the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine. The reason why is because the past several weeks, the energy has felt unhinged, and that's the word that I was given a couple of weeks ago. It just felt unhinged. And when I tune into the energies, especially for Divine Masculines, it feels very repellent, almost like repulsive, very repellent. Now, when I tune higher, it really feels like they're going through their ascension. So we have compassion, we have love, we have understanding because we've been through that journey. We know what those dark nights are like. We know what the voids are like. We know what it is to feel those emotions as the feminines who have been through it. But the energy, as I tune into the Divine Masculine collective, feels just very, there's a lot of anger that's coming up to be purged. There's a lot of grief. There's a lot of even shame. And if you're going through your ascension and you are doing the active healing work, then it's helping to clear and it's helping to transmute and it's shifting everything into a higher level in healing. But if they're not doing that active healing and they're sitting in that energy, then it's going to show up as projection. It's going to show up as blame. And especially for the Divine Feminine, it might actually be a projection onto the feminine, blame onto the feminine, rather than doing the inner work and the shadow work and doing those deep dives. That's necessary. Divine Feminines, we've been doing that work. That's not to say that we haven't had our missteps along the way as well when it comes to how we express. But the more that we do those deep dives and that healing work, the more we have the proper tools and the resources for those healthy outlets. And that's where the Divine Feminine has really shifted into a higher energy, a new consciousness, and a higher understanding, where she is able to hold that space for herself and really embody her higher self. Divine Masculine, is, as a collective, is really learning how to do that and what it means to embody the higher self, to what it means to really connect with and embody the soul of themselves. But it really requires looking at the soul of themselves and looking in that mirror and allowing all of that old energy, that denser energy to transmute, but to transmute in healthy ways. Again, not out of blame and not out of projection, but out of a much healthier energy. Now, when we're talking about the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine, you can take it for your counterpart, or you can take it for the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine as a whole on this global ascension process, because the entirety of the planet is going through an ascension process, especially when it comes to a balancing of the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine energies. As sacred partners, you're just experiencing this within the microcosm of your union. That being said, we've been channeling for a while now that energy is shifting. Remember that twin flame is an energy. It's not a person. It's an energy. And so the person that you might have been doing this with on your journey might not be going into the next phase of your journey. And that's because they're on their own individual path and you're on your individual path, and there could be higher level decisions that are being made, choices that are being made from both counterparts. So the person that you've been activated to your ascension with might not be the person that you are going into that connection with, into the next phase of your journey. For others, that person is transforming as you've been transforming, and that's where you meet on the same path and you converge. You're on the same page. You are moving into a healthier, harmonious connection and relationship, healthier communication. So it really depends. There are so many different paths up the mountain, and that's really important to understand as well. Everybody's journey is going to look different. Because everybody is experiencing this in a number of different ways. Although we have a collective consciousness and a collective energy, everybody's going up the mountain, so to speak, of consciousness, of spirituality in their own way, on their own path. And so that's where we hold space and compassion and empathy for each other. So it's going to look a little bit different depending on where you are. And that's where we accept. That's where we allow ourselves to hold that space. That's where we allow ourselves to release, let go of anything that needs to be let go of. So the energy, as I narrow down, doesn't feel entirely healthy right now. So I don't really want to get into that energy, especially to navigate through those waters right now. It just doesn't necessarily feel good. You can take this for your own inner masculine and inner feminine energy as well. I was actually experiencing some upsets within my own inner masculine energy where I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel secure. Due to some outside circumstances that have been occurring within my own physical human life. So it's about, I took some time to actually allow myself to see, okay, what's being mirrored back to me? What's being triggered? How can I heal this? How can I allow myself? And healing is either confirming or it's shifting a pattern. It's shifting the energy within yourself that either reaffirms and confirms your growth and your transformation, or sometimes it says, okay, let's shift the pattern, let's shift the energy in this way. So I allowed myself to really regulate myself where I had become deregulated within my nervous system and anchored back into that safety, anchored back into the security, anchored back into that love and that presence within myself. That's my own inner masculine. Holding that space for myself as my own inner masculine for my core feminine energy to be able to continue to flourish, to be able to continue to grow and expand. The Divine Masculine Collective feels like they're learning how to do this. It feels like they are learning the tools and the resources for healthier connection with themselves and possibly even healthier connections with others. Again, everybody's going to be at a different place. Everybody's going to be experiencing this differently. I don't feel comfortable wading in those waters right now because of everything that I've been experiencing over the past month or so. Well, 2 months. Or so. There's been a lot happening in my physical life that I haven't discussed. So I'm gonna just kind of pull back from the energy and look at things from a higher perspective. Look at it from the Ascension relationship perspective. So the sacred union is where we really drill down into the divine masculine, divine feminine, the union energies, what might be happening within the physical world. The Ascension relationship videos are what's happening on a higher level, what's happening energetically. As part of the whole, as part of the greater picture, because we are on the sacred union journey. The sacred union is this path that activated our ascension. If you're part of this collective, you're not here by accident. You're here by divine purpose, and it's just allowing yourself to understand that and go through that process. We are going to be doing more soul path readings. I had introduced those. I planned on introducing those at the beginning of the year, but we introduced those a couple of weeks ago, and we'll be back over on Susan Dawn Ascension Connections, my sister channel, with some more sacred channelings. We're going to be talking, I'm hoping to channel this soon, but we're going to be talking about the money wound, lack and scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset. And we'll have a light language transmission there. You can check out the latest channeling called Never So Lost. There's a companion light language transmission of helping you to feel secure and safe within yourself as well. That has been posted there as well. So you can check both out. But today, let's just kind of see what's going on within the collective. Again, I don't want to dive deep into the energies because it just doesn't feel, it feels, what I'm hearing is it's feeling like it's getting unstuck. So it feels like the energy had been very stagnant. It feels like it had been very stuck and stuck in like a lower vibrational kind of energy. But I'm just hearing and feeling the crown chakra expanding. The more that you allow your perspective to shift, the more that you allow your consciousness to shift, the more that you allow yourself to learn and grow and develop within yourself to understand yourself. Why are my beliefs this way? Why are my patterns this way? The more that you allow yourself to question, the more you're able to have that clarity and have those answers. And the answers are just connecting to the truth within yourself, reaffirming truth within yourself, understanding truth within yourself on the soul level and not so much the intellectual level that you might have been circling around previously. And that really feels like it's the divine masculine energy. When we're speaking about the divine masculine, divine feminine, again, we're talking about this as a whole, but we're on the sacred path with a partner has activated us to our ascension. But again, there are different aspects or different, I'm just seeing like branches, new branches that are being formed here. It's all about conscious growth. If you're consciously allowing yourself to grow and change, then you're consciously choosing new paths for yourself. But if you are in resistance energy and stubborn energy and a lot of pride energy, then you're not allowing yourself to grow and to expand. Allow yourself to reflect and look back at where you were. Have you grown? Have you expanded? Is your life a little bit different? And is it moving in a more abundant direction? Are you making those choices for that next step to keep growing in your life? And you can apply this to a number of different things. Is your relationship getting healthier and growing? Is communication with those within those dynamics? This could be relationships with family, relationships with friends, relationships with children, relationships with partners. Are they growing more healthier? That's all indication that you are shifting the energy and you are growing. You can look at your business. Is your business growing and evolving? You can look at your career. You can look at your social life. You can look at your, just your finances. We have a relationship with everything. And so allow yourself to connect to that energy and reflect on that and say, okay, where was I? Where was my starting point? And have I evolved over the course of this journey? Am I continuing to heal? Am I continuing to evolve? This healing journey is a journey of remembrance. And it feels like there might have been steps and there might be regression, there might be steps and regression, but the more that you allow yourself to overcome any fears and keep moving in that direction of where your soul is guiding you, listening to your truth, listening to your intuition, the more you can see the beauty of this journey. And the more you allow yourself to see the beauty of this journey, the more you allow yourself to open up to those changes and to that evolution within yourself, because we're constantly evolving. Life is evolution. Our souls are meant to evolve. We are meant to evolve. And so allowing yourself to acknowledge, take responsibility for yourself, to acknowledge your growth. Your life is, in essence, your responsibility. Your healing is, in essence, your responsibility. And we can support each other and encourage each other in compassion and in the energy of kindness and in the energy of love. And especially the more that you're in tune with your intuition, you can have that discernment, and trust in the energy. The words might sound good, but the energy is very distorted, or the energy feels very negative, or the energy feels very whatever it is. You can trust in the energy and trust in yourself. Use your discernment as far as how you're navigating your journey and how you're trusting your intuition for that next step forward. So it does feel like there are steps being taken. It does feel like there is healing. But the energy has felt very stuck, and it almost feels like there's a cycle that's going around and around that's being broken, or that's consciously wanting to be broken. I'm getting this energy of not knowing how to break the cycle, and I'm not sure if this is divine masculine or divine feminine, but there is this healing energy that's coming through, this growth energy that's coming through, where karma is clearing, karma is completing, cycles are completing, and you're moving into new phases. But allow yourself to be really conscious of what is being shown to you, and allow yourself to work on that. Allow yourself to dive deep. I always say this for my clients. Even though we talk about relationships, and even though I do readings for clients about relationships, I always say that the relationship is just a reflection of yourself. The relationship is in some way showing you something about yourself. And so the readings are for yourself. It's not for the other person. It's not about the other person. It's always about you. What is it reflecting within you? What is this person reflecting within you? If you're getting a relationship reading for another person, it always comes back to you, not in like a conceited way, and not in like a selfish way, or like a self-centered way, but in the way that you are your own universe. And the next person is their own universe, and the next person is their own universe. That's what empathy is. It's understanding that we all have experiences and journeys, and understanding that we're all walking our sacred path, what's meant for us. And the more that we allow ourselves to tune into our intuition and let ourselves be guided, the easier that journey really does become. And readings are meant to help you along the way. These readings are meant to help you kind of unpack and release any of that soul sludge. To these readings are not, how do I say this? Anytime I get a reading done by one of my soul sisters or one of, somebody that I truly trust, I take it as a reflection of myself. I allow it to confirm what it is that I've been receiving within myself. Because sometimes we doubt, and sometimes we need that validation, and sometimes we can't quite access it within ourselves. For example, there's things that sometimes want to be shown, but I'm not quite sure what it is that wants to be shown. So that's why there's readings, come through. They're validation for what you already know within yourself. As a reader, I'm not showing you anything outside of yourself that you don't already know within the wisdom within you. And I say that all the time too. So trust in yourself and trust in your journey and trust in your intuition and what it is that you're receiving, as long as you're connecting to the truth and the heart of yourself and not using your egoic mind to kind of circumvent the healing, not bypassing the healing. Okay, so that being said, I want to look at what's happening on the higher level, because it feels like there's a lot of moving pieces that's happening right now. There's a lot that's coming into alignment, and it really feels like it's picking up. I really feel like there's going to be a lot that's happening over June and July. June really feels like a pivotal point for me, and I'm not sure what this is, if this is like reunion energy that's coming through, if this is where significant transformations are being made within your life, or if this is maybe you're meeting your counterpart. Maybe you had a catalyst and maybe you're meeting your counterpart. Somebody who's going to, be that soul connection through life, that life partner. For some, there's this reunion window where there's a lot of transformation and there's this reconciliation that's happening, but not until you both go through that growth process, that individual growth process. And for those who are in separation, who resonate with this energy, what I'm actually getting is that separation energy is actually protection for you both, where your true divine counterpart does not want to hurt you, does not want to project onto you, does not want to blame you or have you feel that anger or that rage or that shame or whatever it is that they're going through. There's a very protective energy around this, and so that separation is coming from that unconditional love that they truly do have for you, and they're that separation, that silence, the non-communication is protection for you, because they do hold you in such high esteem and high respect, and they do love you. So take that as it is as well. There's divine purpose for what it is that we are experiencing if we allow ourselves to dive deep and look within ourselves and see, what is this showing me? Okay, so let's see what's going on within the connection as a whole. Let's see what's going on within the connection as a whole. We have the feminine twin, we have enter your vortex, and we have harmonize. Let your light shine, aligning with infinite abundance and activating the higher self. So I really feel like the divine feminine is leading this energetically, and the feminine energy leads this energetically. I posted something on my Instagram. I'm going to read this because it really spoke true. I'm going to, hold on, let me get it. When the masculine is wounded, he will see the divine feminine as a threat to his security and will cling to the comfort of his current reality, placing her beneath him. And that's that spiritual ego. As he starts to heal, his perception shifts and he begins to see the divine feminine as a muse that is out of his reach. And that's where a lot of that worth issue comes in, where they place her on a pedestal and feel like, I'm not worthy and I'm not deserving of her in some way. There could still be ego there. There could still be like a lot of other emotions underneath, but what it comes down to is like that worth kind of energy. But when the masculine steps into his power, he sees the divine feminine as his equal and as his destiny. And that is everything that we have been channeling. The sacred feminine, the divine feminine, truly sees the divine masculine as her equal, as her counterpart. And she is wanting to walk side by side with him. She doesn't place herself above him. She definitely doesn't place herself below him. We can speak about the wounded feminine as well. The wounded feminine might be more submissive to the masculine. The wounded feminine might be more people-pleasing, might be more overgiving, might be more sacrificial. She feels like she needs to prove her love. Feels like she needs to prove herself. She feels like she can't express herself. That's all wounded feminine energy. And feminine, that's what you've been healing along your journey, and you've come such a long way. So be very proud of how far you have come, because it has not been an easy journey for you either. Masculine energy in the wounded state, they will either have that spiritual ego or that ego as a whole, where they are looking at things from the intellect, or too much of the intellect, where they have disconnected from their heart. And as they've disconnected from their heart, they've disconnected from their emotions, and thus disconnected from their inner feminine energy. As they are healing, they will see the divine feminine rise, and that will activate some wounds of worthiness, not feeling deserving, not feeling worthy, not feeling like they can reach her. Again, putting her on like a pedestal, almost like not seeing her as human, where she does have her flaws. She does have her weaknesses, so to speak. But when you're both healed, and when you meet in that space, in that healing, what happens is the masculine energy, or the masculine counterpart, their strengths help lift the feminine's weaknesses. Similarly, the feminine strengths will help lift the masculines and heal the masculine's weaknesses. You're two parts of the same whole. That's the opposites. That's the polarities, right? It's the yin and the yang. You embody the energy of yin and yang. So in the wounded state, you might be looking at each other as, I just keep getting a lot of ego energy of like some kind of hierarchy, some kind of superiority, some kind of student-teacher dynamic, some kind of unequal energy. But that comes from a sense of worth. That comes from a sense of devalued. And that's not because of each other. It's projected onto each other because you're triggering that within each other. But that's coming from past wounding, childhood especially, the inner child. What was experienced within childhood, what was experienced within past relationships, or especially family dynamics, especially when it comes to the mother and the father energy. And you both have had that wounding. But it all comes down to, how are you healing that? How are you recognizing that, acknowledging that, bringing that to your awareness so that you can heal and shift the pattern, so that you can shift the beliefs. All healing is a shifting of the beliefs that you hold about yourself. It's a remembrance of the truth of what you are, and not what experiences or trauma or other people said that you were. It's you connecting deeply with yourself to really access and assess the truth of who you are. So I feel like the feminine energy is the one that really kind of energetically leads the journey as far as healing. And we've experienced this on our journey, where the feminine energy will go through her ascension process first. The masculine holds that presence, holds that space in the physical form. The masculine is a beautiful energy, a warrior-like spirit, where he communicates and expresses himself within his heart space, where he is understanding of his emotions, and thus he's able to understand the feminine's expression and understand the feminine's emotions. But the masculine is a regal presence. They're in their integrity. They're in their dignity. They have that moral compass. They are that leader, not from a place of control. And again, not from a place of ego, not from a place of manipulation, not from a place of sneaky or deceptive behavior, but from a place of directness, from a place of, again, integrity, a place of presence. The masculine holds that space. It's just a very, I keep getting King Arthur as a beautiful example, because King Arthur was that leader, but he wasn't one who, he was like, how do I say this? He wasn't one that was like, just leading from his throne. He stepped up. He took action along with those around him. He was able to empathize with others. He was able to lead alongside his counterpart. You can look at Jesus and Mary, look at Isis and Osiris. These are all counterpart connections that exemplify that energy of partnership and oneness and sacredness, honoring each other, where you're respecting each other and honoring each other. Both counterparts have beautiful contributions for the world. And when you come together, it's magnified, it's tenfold. The masculine energy in their divine state, their conscious state, they are this protective energy. They are a place of safety and security for the container of the divine feminine who is just very expressive and very flowy energy. We had the example this year of the waterfall, where the feminine energy is that flow of water, but the masculine energy is a container of the rocks and the bedrock and the embankment. If the masculine energy wasn't there, then there would be flooding, there would be an overflow. So the masculine energy really allows the feminine to flow freely and beautifully, but within a sacred container, feeling safe, feeling secure, feeling protected. The divine masculine naturally provides for the divine feminine in that way and wants to provide for the divine feminine in that way, wants to protect the divine feminine in that way because he sees her sacredness. He sees her heart. He sees her love. He sees her beauty. Not from a place where he's putting her on a pedestal where he's devaluing himself, but from a place of, oh, look at this beautiful partnership. That's his harmonized energy. From this beautiful place of partnership, look what happens when we see the soul of each other. Look what happens when we come together in beautiful harmony. Look what happens when we heal. Look what happens when we allow the energy to flow. And that's what this feels like, this vortex. It feels like I'm getting drawn to the 1010, which is an energy of cycles completing, but also the one is cycles beginning. And I feel like you're entering this massive vortex of healing, this massive portal of healing, where you are aligning to the truth of the frequency, the higher frequency, the higher consciousness that your journey has brought you to. The feminine in her journey has led the way energetically. The divine masculine, it's not a catch-up kind of energy, but the divine masculine is going through their ascension now. And the feminine is helping to transmute and hold that space for the masculine as he's going through his ascension journey. Now, the divine feminine, through her healing, she's able to have those boundaries. She's not engaging in any toxic energy. She's able to anchor in and embody that knowing of herself, trusting her intuition, trusting the energy, where she is not, again, engaging or accepting of anything that is of a lower vibrational density, but she's helping to transmute all of that energy. The divine masculine is feeling just getting an influx of emotions right now, and it's almost like they're not quite sure what to do with all those emotions, but they're learning and getting the resources to channel those into healthy outlets and healthy directions, rather than maybe the way that they had I'm getting a lot of examples. Hold on, let me get this message through. Rather than the unhealthy patterns that they might have engaged in or unhealthy behaviors they might have engaged in the past, they're realizing that's not working. They're realizing that's not healthy. That's not the direction I want to go in. That's not me really healing. That's not being my true divine self. It's like they're really understanding who they want to be and what it's going to require of them. And it's not going to be as difficult as they're making it seem. It's not going to be as difficult as their fear or their ego is letting on. Because the more that they make those conscious choices and shift those patterns, the whole energy shifts and it almost becomes more fluid and more effortless. It's only their own resistance that makes it difficult or that makes it challenging, because it's like the universe, they're pushing back against the universe, and that's creating friction, that's creating tension. But the more that they allow themselves to accept and surrender and step into who it is that they truly want to be on a soul level by shifting their behaviors, shifting their beliefs, shifting their perspectives, the more they are able to consciously make new choices, it's going to unfold and their life is going to start getting easier and easier and easier and more abundant, because that's where they're aligning to. It's all about shifting perspective and making different conscious choices and being aware of the pattern so that you can shift the energy. What's also happening, I was getting examples, and they just went out of my mind. I can't remember now. I was just getting different examples of I can't remember now what I was saying. So we're going to move on, but let's get a little bit more energy from this. Take me home, pathway to true love. Yeah. You're really understanding through this journey what love really is and what love isn't. And again, a lot of that is based on past patterns and beliefs. And it doesn't necessarily have to be this lifetime, but past lifetimes too, that might be seeping through. You might be having dreams or memories of past lifetimes that might be triggering old beliefs. But the trigger is there for your awareness. The trigger is there so you can see, oh, I can shift that energy. I can shift that pattern. I can shift that behavior. But it's all about, where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? And who are you truly on the soul level? And so allowing yourself to trust the process, allowing yourself to release the resistance and trust the process, trust the path. Not trying to force anything or manipulate a path, but just trusting the divine unfolding. They're reminding me of the movie Frozen 2. And we've talked about that previously ad nauseum, actually, on the channel. I think I did a full channeling on that once. I can't remember what video it was. Otherwise, I would link it. If you guys remember, feel free to post that in the comments. But we did a whole channeling on Frozen 2 and the Ascension journey, and how it is basically an ascension journey, and how Anna and Elsa can represent the divine union within, the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies within oneself. Because again, even though you might be doing this with a sacred partner, you have both energies within yourself to be healed, to be looked at, to bring into balance within your own self. And from that inner union, you have that outer union with a counterpart. So they're reminding me of Frozen 2 and how Anna sings a song, The Next Right Step. And sometimes it might be lonely and sometimes it might be fearful, but you're never alone. You are never alone. I'm going to be doing a channeling this week about that because I got some insight into that yesterday, more insight into that yesterday, about how we're truly never alone. Not just within the realm of this world as a whole, with our family or soul family or friends or just people who come into our lives to remind us that we're not alone. But we're never alone when we're connecting to God's source, when we're connecting to the universe, when we're connecting to that higher power. We know and understand intuitively that we're not alone and that God has never abandoned us. God has never rejected us. God has never neglected us or forsaken us. You really learn to embody that. You guys have heard my story. I've shared a lot of my story and my journey to reach this point of where I am. It's been a long road, a very long road. And there was a time when I really felt forsaken by God. I really felt separated from God. I really felt angry with God because I felt abandoned by God. And it's taken a lot of work, a lot of energy work, a lot of inner work, a lot of shadow work, and a lot of shifting my own patterns and beliefs around that to understand that I might feel disconnected and I might feel that separation, but that separation truly is the illusion, and that you're never disconnected from God. God is never disconnected from you. You might feel that disconnect, but you're never truly disconnected. God has never abandoned you. You've never truly been abandoned. Even though in our human senses, in our human experience, it might look or feel that way. And that's what this journey is all about too. It's about understanding things from a higher perspective, that we might have these human experiences, but what does that mean on the soul level? Transcending or looking beyond the human aspect. Now, that doesn't mean that we get so fixated on the spiritual aspect that we deny our human experiences. That's what this ascension journey is all about. It's about understanding who we are on the soul level in the spiritual realm, but bringing that down into human form So we don't bypass the human experience. We understand that we are part of this human world. We are in human form. We are having human experiences, and that's the beauty of life. And it becomes more magical and more abundant and more sacred the more that we build that bridge, ground the energy of the spiritual, and build that bridge between our human form and our spiritual nature. That's what embodiment is all about. Embodiment is about bringing those spiritual understandings, that shift in consciousness into our human embodiment and our human experience. That's when life really becomes juicy and lovely and magical, because you can see how everything is interconnected and how everything is working on the higher level and how it's all working for you. Doesn't mean that you don't have challenges or obstacles or difficulties, but through the ascension journey, you also recognize that you have the resources and the tools to understand, to shift, to heal, to remember, to connect. You have those tools and you have those resources. And the more you do that deep inner shadow work, the more you shift in consciousness, and I'm just getting a lot of third eye and crown chakra activations, the more everything just expands. And as everything expands within you, everything expands within your physical life. So that stuck feeling that I was feeling in the beginning, I feel like there's this opening that's happening. There's this shift that's happening in the energy, and the where you might have felt really stuck, that's where you allow yourself to shift and do the healing work and do the belief work. And really shift things on a very deep subconscious or unconscious level. And the more you do that, the more you expand, and the more your physical world, your human experience will expand. Solutions will open up if you feel stuck, or if you feel like things are difficult. New opportunities will come in. A new path opens up to you, but it's the same path that's been there all along. It's just now you're not in resistance to it. Now you are trusting it because you're trusting yourself, because you're not trying to force a direction, or you're not trying to force others in a direction. You're just allowing yourself to walk on your path. And what you do as you allow yourself to walk on your sacred path is you find others walking parallel with you. That's the harmony. That's the sacredness of your connection, especially with these divine counterparts, that the paths converge and you're walking the same path then, in that harmony and in that sacredness and in that honoring of each other. Not ahead, not behind, together. Yeah, look, surrender and dark night of the soul. That's what it feels like there's been, especially for the divine masculines here. Let's get some Moonology guidance here. I don't feel like we're going to be doing a full channeling, but not around this energy, at least. But let's get some guidance. What do we need to know right now, Spirit? The moon cycles right now are very pivotal. We just had the new moon in Pisces, and I feel like that Pisces energy is asking you to go deep within. It's asking you to go deep within the emotions and let yourself feel the emotions. So if in your wounded state, you were somebody who bypassed their emotions or numbed out on the emotions through any kinds of behavior, it's asking you and inviting you is the word that I'm getting, inviting you to really go deep within yourself so that you can make that conscious change. Because again, bringing it to your awareness is what allows yourself to heal it, and it might not be comfortable. It might trigger a lot of old emotions and feelings within you, but hold that space within yourself. Have that compassion for yourself. Have that love for yourself. Ask for support from those around you who love you and who are there for you and who encourage you, because you do have soul family around you who can hold that space for you. So allow yourself to hold that space for yourself and allow yourself to ask for that support and allow yourself to go deep within so that you can explore the depths. This doesn't feel scary. The Pisces energy feels like, yes, you're exploring the depths within yourself, but there's a really compassionate, loving energy that's coming through. I'm getting ancestors coming through. I'm getting a lot of spirit guides energy coming through, God source energy coming through. God source is holding that space for you as well. Your ancestors are holding that space for you as well, and your ancestors are so proud of you for doing the work, because what you're doing as you do that healing work, as you shift your behaviors, your patterns, your beliefs, as you shift the energy within yourself, what you're doing is I'm just seeing a chain link. Links on a chain. That's what I'm seeing. And what you're doing is you're breaking those chains. You're breaking the chains of the past. You're healing the ancestral wounds, just going back lifetimes and generations. So this is what you're here for as well. And divine counterparts, again, you mirror that to each other, not because you are toxic to each other and not because you are inherently like against each other. In essence, you are for each other. And this is a soul contract in and of itself where you said, okay, we're going to heal this. We're going to come together and we're going to heal this. And we might trigger each other. But again, the triggers, the more that you access the love and the more that you shift your perspective around this journey and understand that the triggers are opportunities for healing within yourself, the more you're able to come together with your counterpart to have more of that harmony and more of that love. And you create from that place. Counterparts are very powerful energies. Very powerful energies. They're like the power couples because you're doing the healing work together. That's what makes you a powerful person. The healing work, the healing energy. And everybody has that ability. Everybody has that wisdom and that power within them. It's just allowing yourself to see that within yourself and understand that within yourself, not from the ego or the spiritual ego of control and force and manipulation and deception and all that old paradigm stuff, but from the understanding that you're always connected to yourself and to God's source as one. And when you come together with your counterpart, the ability to manifest and create within that healed context just ripples out and expands in a beautiful way for the entire world to shift and to change. But that consciousness shift starts within you. As awakened beings on this ascension journey, we have a desire for the world to change and the world to heal. And this has been something that has been with so many of us. I want to say all of us, but I'm going to narrow it down to like so many of us. The vast majority of us, we have this desire to see change in the world. We have this desire for the world to heal. We have this desire for more love and more beauty and more compassion and understanding. We have this desire for the world to be better. It's inherent in us. But we don't do that from the outside in. We do that from the inside out. And everybody plays a part for that. Everybody plays a part for that. You are not here by accident. You are not here by accident. Everybody has a purpose. And your journey is part of the purpose. Your healing work is part of the purpose. Because the work that you do within yourself has a ripple effect, has an expansive quality to it. Because it's all energy. The world itself is energy. The universe is energy. You are energy. And the more that you are shifting the energy within yourself from the low density frequencies and vibrations, from fear, shame, guilt, projection, judgment, the more you shift out of that energy and into higher energies of compassion, kindness, empathy, love, the more that energy, that frequency expands. Love is expansive, is quantifiably expansive. The energy field, when you're in the energy of love, is expansive. When you're in a lower frequency, it goes like this. It kind of like tightens up and it feels really restrictive. That's why when you're in a state of fear or judgment or upset or whatever, you can feel yourself kind of closing in on yourself. But step back to your present state of being. Step back to the energy of love and watch or feel the energy within you expand. I'm talking about your own individual journey. You can feel that. And sometimes it's comfortable to be in that pain and to be in that fear because that's what you know. But the more I've been there, trust me, I've been there. I was there 10 years ago when I was dealing with Lyme disease. It was very hard for me to let go and surrender because I was so used to living a certain way in that same energy. and that suffering. I experienced so much suffering and so much pain through that experience that that's what I was used to. And I didn't know anything beyond that. But when I was activated to Ascension and started doing the inner work and the deep dives and the journaling and the energy healing and the belief shifting and shifting my perspective, everything began to open up. And I said, oh my God, there's a different way of living. There's a different way of being. And every choice became a more conscious way of being, a more conscious choice to move out of victimhood and move out of martyrdom and move out of shame and guilt and fear and suffering and into the energy of love. And the energy field expands. I'm using myself as an example, but apply it to your own life. You can see how this journey has transformed you. You can feel how this journey has changed you and allowed you to shift and expand. Allow yourself to reflect back on where you were and how your energy has expanded and how your consciousness has shifted. And know too that this feeling, this constrictive feeling like this, it's a conscious choice to not want to feel that way anymore. And so you make more conscious choices. Okay, I'm going to choose love over fear this time. I'm going to choose healthy over unhealthy behaviors this time. I'm going to choose compassion over judgment this time. That's where you make the perspective shifts and the behavior shifts and the belief shifts. And that's where you choose differently and choose higher. Okay, so I was talking about the moon. So the Pisces moon is an invitation to access those deep emotions, to allow yourself to see yourself in a new light, to release what needs to be released that just doesn't fit anymore because it might still be in that constrictive energy and you want to expand. So it's allowing you to inviting you to shift and dive deep so that you can shift and expand. But you have to feel those emotions. You have to go through it in order to go through it. You have to experience it in order to move through it. That's kind of like that breakdown before the breakthrough kind of energy. But the breakdown doesn't have to feel as scary or as dismal or as defeating as our egos and our fear makes it seem. It's just a shift. It's just an energy shift. It's just a consciousness shift. And the more that you open up and say, God, please assist me in this, or angels, please assist me in this. I want to shift. It's a conscious choice, and you're affirming, I want to shift, I want to change, I want to grow, I want to evolve, I want to expand in the energy of love. And that's when you receive that support. Because you're not alone in this. You're not alone. Seen and unseen, you have support. Emotions are running high. I think this new moon was a super moon. I might be incorrect about that. I actually wasn't paying attention to the moon cycles. It was very weird. The days are kind of blending together right now for me because there's a lot going on. But emotions are running high, and that's that Pisces kind of energy. Allow yourself to be conscious and aware of the emotions that you're feeling. And allow yourself through that awareness to shift the emotions. You don't have to hold on to it. Okay, what else do we need to know right now? The upcoming full moon feels especially pivotal as well. Yeah, the energy is getting momentum. Yeah, so this momentum is picking up. This energy is picking up. There's a lot that's aligning. There's a lot that's shifting. There's a lot that's transforming. And remember that energy can shift in a second. You don't have to continue in the same energy. Energy can shift in a second just by conscious choices. Just by a decision to align to a new way of being or shift your belief. I've done some energy healing sessions where I've had other people facilitating for me. And I've gone deep into some beliefs that I've held. And within the course of a session, the energy shifts within me and my life shifts because of it. It's all energy, and energy can shift in a second. So I feel like there is a lot that's transforming right now. And so we might, on a very human level, be feeling a lot of emotion, a lot of purging, a lot of instability. You might actually go back and forth depending on where you are between stability and instability. But hold that space for yourself. Hold that presence for yourself. And one more card, please. One more card. What do we need to know right now? What do we need to know right now? Look at the bigger picture. That's exactly what we're talking about. That's what this ascension journey is. It's a gift for you to look at things from a bigger perspective, not to look at it with a narrow-minded viewpoint of the 3D world, of the human perspective, but to look at the big picture, the whole picture. They gave me this analogy a very long time ago, and look, prosperity lies ahead. There is beauty that's coming. There is abundance that is here. They're correcting me. It's not that it's coming, it's here. Just allow yourself to shift, to invite it in, to welcome it in. Because that's all it is. The universe wants to bring us everything. We just have to allow ourselves to open up to it. And not to try to control it or navigate how it's meant to happen, but just surrender and just be, like, I'm just seeing this. Just be open. Just be receiving of it. So they brought me this analogy a long time ago of, you can apply this to theater, you can apply this to like movies, but it's like if you're looking at like a film, you are the writer, the author, you are the actor, you are the producer, you are the director. And what they had shown me was a movie camera. It's like sometimes you see things really close up, but if you see things really close up on the screen, all you're seeing is like maybe one aspect of a room. But when you draw the perspective back, you see the whole room, or you see the whole of the town, or you see the whole of the world. That's looking at things from a bigger perspective. But sometimes we get so caught up in our lower density energy that we only see one aspect of it. But there's a greater perspective if we allow ourselves to shift. And the greater perspective is that of love. Love is what is true. Love is what is real. It's all the other stuff that we get bogged down with that we forget that. But come back to that state of being. Come back to your center. Come back to that state of presence. Come back to your heart space. Come back to love. Because love, looking through the lens of love, is what allows you to see things in a different way. And that, again, changes the energy completely. All right, so that's going to be it for today's reading. We're going to put a hold on Sacred Union energy updates until I feel the energy set a little bit. But we'll be back with more sacred channelings and soul path readings as I feel called to. And make sure that you're staying tuned to the channel. Make sure you're subscribed. And I'm sending you all so much love and so much light. Hang in there. You are deeply supported and deeply, deeply loved.